Excuse me. Excuse me. YouTube, what's up? Meeting's now streaming on YouTube. Cool beans. Cool beans. Had a little bit of downtime today. Only had one appointment. I figured I'd jump on a live stream. It's fun. Had some down. Hey, buddy. You didn't? Okay, good boy. So I figured I'd say shout out to everybody out there. How are you? I'm doing just fine. It's hot again in Georgia. We are short of any rain. I kind of wish we had a little bit of the hurricane rain here. No, Pablo, just go in Pablo's bed. Good boy. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some Q&As. I'm excited. Let's see what's going on here on the markets. And then we're going to share you, Dow's up 142, 10-year treasuries at 0.53, S&P's up 17, Russell's down a point, 30-year treasury is at 1.2, man, 1.2. Tell me that's not crazy. Jeez Louise. I haven't done a live stream at this time, so I want to see if anyone's here, so it'd be cool. All right. So let's kind of see what kind of Q&As we have. And then what I'm going to do, we got some Heritage Wealth Planning merch, which I'm going to share with you. So you guys are the first to see it. Here's a 556 shirt. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. That's good. It's pretty thin. I like that. That's nice. That is that's a large. Let's see, is that polyester? That feels good. I like that a lot. I like that color structure. Can't tell. Let's see. This is made in USA too, baby. That's fantastic. 100% polyester. All right, sweet. So let's try this on. No one's watching. I'll just come up here real quick. We'll try this on. This is the Heritage Wealth Plan or the 556 shirt. Oh yeah, there you go. Looks good. Oh yeah, that's nice, man. Nice. Look at that 556. A little bit bigger than I would have liked, but that feels good. I like that a lot. That's a nice shirt. So we got that as a merch there. So that's 556. We'll throw that in my trusty trash can, which you can get here. Stuff here. So this is 556. That's too big. I didn't like that too big, but that's cool. All right. I got my other merch here. We're going to look at real fast. Let's see what we got here. While people are jumping on, hopefully you got notified. So for you who are here, how did you find out about me going live right now? I just figured I'd jump on here if I can get this. 1 second. Jeez, look at this. All right, cool. So here's the Scamlin merch or the Heritage Wealth Planning merch. Oh, that's my wife. No, that's not my merch. Oh man. All right, never mind. Scratch that. That's for her. Yeah, geez Louise. All right, so this is my 556 right there. Pretty cool. A little bit too big right there. I need to make it smaller, but it's a nice material. Light. 100% polyester. It's cool. I like it. All right, so that's good. I thought I had other merch. I guess not, but we'll take what we got. So let's. My wife is doing some kind of Harry Potter run. Virtual 5K. All right. So one thing I want to share with you, I got my old Social Security statement from 2010. I thought I'd share this with you. Pretty interesting. This one we lived in Phoenix, as a matter of fact. It's pretty cool to see. And so we're gonna crack this baby open. Now they don't send these out to you anymore until you're 60 years old. But it's just interesting. So I didn't make more than 50,000 until 2005. And yep, I didn't make more than 50,000 until 2005. So 2005, I was 35 years old. All right. Then 2006, I made 68,000. 2007, I made $34,000. $34,000. My wife made, I think she was making like $6 an hour working at a part-time teller at Bank of America. So she probably made 10, 15. So in 2007, we made 34,000. In 2008, I made 97. 2009, I made 85. So that's why I took my went to go work at USA, because in 2006 I made $68,000 because I was still on salary at Smith Barney, and I had commissions coming in. Then the market started getting killed in 2007. My fees were going down, and and then I got off salary at the same time. I couldn't afford it anymore. Made $34,000 in 2007. Yeah. So don't tell me you don't know what it's like. Hell's hell, I do. 1990, when I was in the Army, made $10,000, man, $10,000 in 1990. 1989, my first full year in the military, made $7,800. $7,800, man. 1991, I made $11,000. I mean, think about it. And I mean, we'll just round up at $12,000 in 1991. And, you know, when you're in the military, in the infantry, you're working freaking hell of a lot of hours because you're getting deployed, you're out in the field and all that. Nuts, man. 1984, I made $156. I didn't break 20,000 until 1998 when I made $27,000 after I graduated college. 1999, I made 32,000 when I was working at Vanguard. I worked my ass off. I worked crazy overtime because I wanted the money. 2000, I made $27,000. 2001, I made $30,000. I mean, then again, I didn't make more than 50 until 2005. Then 2009, I made $85,000. All right, so now, according to this, they said my last year was I made $85,000, and in 2010, they said if you continue to make that kind of scratch until you hit your full retirement age at 67, my benefit will be $22.36 a month. So there you go. I mean, so basically, you can see this right here. I mean, that's my earnings statement right there. You can see all that. It's nothing. There's nothing there, man. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, I would have, if I kept making what I was making at that point, until I was 2000, until I was 37 years old, 67 years old, I would have still made up my full retirement age, $2,200 a month in Social Security. So that's not so bad. Hey, Nancy, que paso? What's going on? Appreciate you jumping on. Did you get a notification, Nancy? Hey, CB. Right on. Thanks, CB. Jeff popped up in subscriptions. Right on. Cool. Well, if you all have any thoughts, questions, concerns, t-shirts on order. Right on, CB. Is that CB in Michigan or CB in California? We got two CBs on here. So anyway, so then that was in 2010. Then I started maxing out about basically 2012. I haven't shaved, as you can tell. Sorry, I don't really feel like it. In 2012, I started maxing. So now my benefit was, I think it's $2,900 a month. So even though I've started maxing in 2012, my benefit is still only $2,900 a month. The point about this is that this is why these people, they say, oh, if we just get rid of the cap on Social Security, it's not going to fix anything, man. It's just not. But you're not, all right, right on, Nancy. It's not going to fix anything, but it's also not going to, it's just, I mean, it doesn't do anything. But the reason is because the bulk of Social Security goes to the people in the lower and middle class income earners. Basically, you know, I was making $83,000, and even though the previous, I had never made that much money, I was still going to get $2,200 a month at 67, and the max you could have gotten then was like $2,700 a month. CB, right on, Michigan CB. All right, cool. So it's anyway, I find it interesting. People say, wow, my goodness. Hey, what's up, Jim? Hey, my man in New York. Right on, man. Just got back from Maine. We just ordered some Porter Farms beef, as a matter of fact, as I think of Porter Farms. My daughter had told me about Porter Farms, so we just ordered some beef. So we're gonna cook that stuff up tonight with my 556 shirt that I got. My first merch I got. And again, my merch you can find down on the bottom of the link here. Actually, maybe I'll just share the screen real fast. Don't buy it yet because I don't know. I mean, this shirt feels good. I like this shirt a lot. This is off Teespring. The reason why it's more expensive because it's 100% polyester. I like 100% polyester stuff. And here's a light blue. I thought that's what I did order, but the light blue is what you'll see. So here's my store. Yeah, I got a green one right here, but there's a light blue, which is pretty cool, man. I'm looking, see, that's smaller. So I got the bigger one, it's greener. I'm gonna get this right here, 1984 mask. And then we're gonna get one of these shirts that say Heritage Wealth Planning on it. I got all that on order, so I should be here shortly. Very much looking forward to it. And then view more. Let's just go here. And anyway, so all my stuff is not cotton. It's all 100% polyester, which is why it costs a little bit more. So you can get one of these shirts, and I got my Heritage Wealth Planning masks and my cups. So I'm looking forward to getting all that stuff. Again, you can get this in multiple colors here. I actually like the mustard color. I've always liked green. My favorite is orange. I like orange. You can't, it's not as good to see. Maybe this orange right here. Yeah, it's pretty sharp right there. So, all right, cool beans, man. All right, so let's, I do want to go over some Q&A, and I appreciate y'all being here again. I kind of, oops. You got anything you want anything run by me, Nancy? I mean, there's no specific topic. I'm just going to do some Q&A. If anything jump out at you that you want to discuss, throw it out there. So let's, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that mask for sure. All right, so we're going to start with my man Angela had written in about spousal IRAs. He said, Josh, thanks for blah, blah, blah. Here, one spouse works, has 401k, makes 150k annually. The other spouse stays at home. There are IRA income limits for each spouse. So the working spouse does not qualify to open the deductible IRA, but the non-working spouse can. 556 is the round of an M16, and AR-15 is what's called 0.223. So that's what 556 says. And on these other shirts I got, it's going to say 762 on the back, which is an M60. So the funny thing is, Jim, I mean, you might not know, I don't know, but you asked, so I'll tell you, a 556 round is tiny. In fact, if I was worried that if I didn't worry so much about YouTube banning me for showing anything to do with firearms, I'd show you what a bullet of a 556 looks like. Yeah, right. Yep, you got it. Yep. Okay, so Jeff gets it. All right, so it's tiny, man. It's all these people say, oh my goodness, they're, AR-15s are assault weapons. They can kill people. Okay, yes, they can kill people, but knives can kill people too. Driving your car can kill people. Everything can kill people. The thing is, the violence behind a 556 or 223 is nothing. It's just not that big of a deal. I mean, again, yes, it hurts. It could kill you. I get all that. You don't take a freaking M16 or AR-15 to go hunting. And the reason you don't, because you don't want the game to run around hurt. You want to freaking put them down. It's crazy. I got a debate this when I was still on Facebook with this guy. It's just like, dude, you literally can't be this dumb. And the whole point was, talk about the violence that could be created by assault weapons. And I said, you know how much more damage a freaking buckshot would do than a freaking 556? I mean, just come on. And I'm not even a gun nut. I'm a contrarian, and I love just poking the bear of people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. And this guy didn't know what the hell he's talking about. I just like, dude, come on. Just stop being stupid. If you don't know, just take the time to learn. It's okay. It's okay. Just learn. But don't be stupid, because you sound like a fool. You sound like the kind of guys who want to ban people from owning firearms for no reason other than it looks scary. It's black, has a buttstock, has a flash suppressor, and it's got a hand grip, and it takes a magazine. Woo woo. You're like, oh, it's embarrassing. It just embarrasses me. All right. So anyway, my man says one spouse makes 150, the other spouse stays home. I haven't seen too many videos on this topic, but I think okay. I'm not sure what the question was. All right. Anyway, you talked about a spousal IRA. I guess he didn't really ask a question. Yeah. So I'm not sure what he's talking about. So anyway, this Ducky guy says quacky quack. There's a band out of Boston called the Ducky Boys Duck Guys. So if you like, they kind of some punkish kind of band. They never did much for me, actually. They're okay, but they just kind of bore me. Some of it's like almost like street rock and roll kind of. It just didn't do much for me. But there's a band out of Boston called the Ducky Boys. So I don't know what he's asked me. A spousal IRA. He's got $150,000. Should he do a deductible IRA for a spouse? Yeah, absolutely. Let me share with you a story about a lady I'm working with right now. Nice lady. She's done everything she's supposed to, but the problem is she's married, she's divorced, but the problem is, she's getting ready to retire, $750,000 in a 401k. Hey, Dana, right on. I haven't seen you around here lately. What's up, my man? Your PA was just up your neck of the woods. Dana. So Dana's from Portland, which is where I was born, and my man York, PA, was up in that neck of the woods eating amados. Too bad y'all didn't hook up. That'd been kind of fun. But anyway, so my man, so this lady, there's not much we can do for her from a tax perspective because everything's in deferred accounts. And so what happens in this regard is that her probably biggest expense, once her mortgage is paid off, her biggest expense is going to be taxes. And it just sucks because there's not much you can do. I wish it's just not much to do. And so basically she has expenses if that are minimal, but taxes are big. And because everything's a deferred account, so we looked at doing smaller Roth conversions and stuff, and that'll help a little bit in the long run. But the long run, A, she might not be here, and B, I always hate pulling more money front, for a single person to pay tax on it, which it may not. Hey, there's Angela, right on. Hey, Angela's the guy who asked this question. All right. Yeah, right on. Okay, cool. So Angela, all right, here we go. So I'm reading your thing right now. So Angela asked about that IRA. Okay, it looks like you stated specifically about the non-spouse. Yeah, so you can't get a tax deduction if you're already contributing to a employer-sponsored plan in which you making too much income, but your spouse can, without question. So the point about that is stop focusing so much on the tax deduction. That's what I'm trying to say. Hey, Hoosier, Pop Stew. I'll do a video tomorrow, maybe tonight, retiring to Bellingham, Washington, or Jasper, Indiana. I'm working with a guy right now who's in Washington. He's like, man, we might want to move to Indiana. And I said, I don't know, man, Indiana, that's not that great tax-wise for retirees. So I'm going to do a video comparing Indiana to Washington. Anyway, let's go back to my man Angela's thing. So what happens is where I'm trying to go with this is she did everything she's supposed to do. Now she's screwed. I hate to say screwed. She's doing fine, but she has all this money just sitting in pre-tax money, and we can't do anything about it. It has to come out taxable. Taxable. All right, dude, Doug guy's killing me here. All right, well, so let's get rid of old Doug guy. I thought he was all right, there you go. All right, I'm gonna be like Clay Travis. When people start acting stupid, we're gonna nuke them. So anyway, the issue, Angela, is that you just gotta be careful taking. So remember, if she would have paid a little bit more tax while she's working, when she has the extra income, she could pay less tax in the future when she doesn't have any income, if that makes sense. That might mean she pays more tax. Yeah, I was thinking about Pop Stew doing Columbus, Indiana, but I've heard, or somebody told me Jasper is better. I don't know, but someone just said they love Jasper, so I said, I'll do that. But anyway, so at the end of the day, where I'm going with this is that be careful of saying you're going to save more taxes by doing deferrals, simply because you might find when you're older in retirement and have no other income, the only thing you can do is pay tax. It might be better to pay more tax on the front end while you're still working and have that money coming in than paying less tax today in order to pay more tax in the future, even if it seems advantageous from a spreadsheet. I'm telling you, we could spreadsheet this all day long. But if you're in in this case, 12%, 22% tax bracket on either side of the equation, is it better to defer 22% tax bracket while you're working and actually make money in order to pay 22% in the future while you're retired and have no other income? I don't think so. In her case, the taxes are the biggest, second biggest expense once her mortgage is paid. Now she's going to be fine because, like most people, was just that I deal with. She values a dollar. She doesn't like cigars with dollar bills and stuff. But I think a lot of people, in my experience, the taxes are one of the hugest expense they have. And there's nothing they can do. This is why I don't pay. This is why I don't do any deferred accounts anymore. I do everything straight. I'd rather pay more now to get that burden off me in the future. I have no idea what the future is going to hold. But also I know for the fact I can quote afford it now, or I might not be able to afford it in the future. I'm just telling you, I've seen this with my own very eyes, especially with widows or divorcees or single women in particular. They got property taxes to pay. They live. Now this lady lived, not this specifically. I have another lady who lived in New Jersey. Property tax going through the roof. She had to take money out of her IRA in which to pay the property tax, which meant she had to take more taxes on her IRA. And it's just it's a vicious cycle. It's just circling the drain. And at some point it's going to circle more and more and more and more, and then be done. It's a bad place to be, man. And so if you can pay a little bit more taxes now when you can afford it, when I say afford it, that just means you're still in your work, you're still making income. You still have the ability to work hard, to get another job, all this stuff. When you hit 65 one night, you probably don't. Anyway, so all right, so let's keep going down. But I appreciate the email, Angela. So I will delete your email you sent to me, because we just discussed that for sure. Is it ever advantageous for a single person to wait till 70 to collect Social Security if money is not needed for survivors and saved up during working life? I mean, of course, it's sometimes advantageous. I mean, sometimes it's advantageous because you're getting more for bang for your buck. By the longer you wait, Nancy, I am against, by and large, taking Social Security as a single person at 70. Not always. I'll get to you here in just a second. Not always, but the vast majority of my time I am. So in this lady's case, she's single. We ran the numbers on Social Security. Even though the retirement plan numbers look better, it didn't look that much better. And again, for it to be better, she has to live that much longer. Just take it, and I said at her full retirement age, just take it and be done with it. And because the facts are, when you're single, you don't know how long you're going to live. Your Social Security is still taxed more preferably, and it does put less stress on your portfolio. Now, I get it. If you can wait those 3 extra years, that's more money, but I don't see the huge benefit for a single person to wait, unless there's, other circumstances, like, wanting to do Roth conversions, leaving money to the kids and whatnot. I don't, you got it right on, Angela. I just think, I just look at this lady, and again, she's in a good place. But I just think, man, if she would have paid more taxes on the front end, it just would have been better for her in retirement. Because in your front end, when you're working, is when you can afford it. You can at least afford a big tax hit when you're retired. Social Security is the same kind of thing. You can at least afford a big hit to your portfolio when you're retired. You can afford it now, but you can't while you're freaking retired. And that's why I just say, take Social Security, take some of the stress off the portfolio. Yeah, I mean, I can spreadsheet all day long. That's taking it at 70's way to go. I don't believe that for the bulk of people who are single. I just don't. I mean, again, every situation is unique. And I run these numbers, say, look, is it worth it? An 88% retirement success compared to 92? No, it's just not worth it. Will you make more money in Social Security if you're 5 to 83? Yes. All right. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're 85 years old. You got a couple extra $100 a month in income from Social Security. Wow. It just doesn't seem that big of a deal to me. To incur the dropping of your portfolio in those interim years while you're waiting for Social Security to kick in, I just don't see the benefit of it at all, Nancy. Hope this helps. You might be different. I don't know. Let's see. My man James said, with bonds having probable low future returns, cash making low returns, and pricey stock market, where do you think best place to park cash needed 5 to 10 years? Is the stock market pricey? I don't think so. The problem with the CAPE ratio, and this is what everyone focuses on. I look, everyone, I was going to do another video on the CAPE ratio and how a great predictor of future returns is. You got to factor in what the bond rates are, man. I mean, are the stocks cheap? No. Are they crazy high relative to historic norms? No, they're just not. And the reason is because the 10-year treasury is at 0.5%. And the historic 10-year treasury, we'll look it up right now, see if it's changed. 10-year treasury, let me show you. 0.53. TNX, that's a 10-year treasury. 0.53. 10-year treasury. I mean, you have to look at all things. Real estate, 10-year treasury. Real estate's through the roof. 10-year treasury is through the roof. That's why the yields are so low. Stocks relative to what you could get in the 10-year treasury or a piece of rental property. I don't think stocks are that pricey. Now, 5 to 10 years, I mean, I can't speak to that. I can't speak. That's an intermediate term investment? I mean, I can't speak what you should do. I don't adhere to the premise that stocks are pricey. I don't, because I don't think they are relative to what the other competing assets are. Just think in 1982, 10-year treasuries at 15, stocks PE ratios at 6. Is there a reason for that PE ratio being so low? Maybe 8. Yeah, because the 10-year treasury is paying 15. And you can go and lock in a freaking, actually 10-year treasury back then might have been paying 18. Well, let's take a look. I think I got up here. Let's see what the 10-year treasury was doing back then. So let's let me make sure. Let's share a screen. Oops, I didn't share a screen yet. Oh man, I'm almost done my book too. I've every time I write another chapter, I get something else in there. But let's look at 10-year treasury. This book is gonna be awesome. It's freaking, I'm so stoked to share it with you guys. It's gonna be awesome. The premise here, the premise. All right, and from the 1930s, Wellington did better than the S&P 500 in terms of retirement planning. Why? Because deflation. From 1960s to the end of 1970s, S&P 500 did better than Wellington for retirement planning. Why? Because of inflation. In the aughts, Wellington did better than the S&P 500 because of low inflation, and less sequence of return risk. So we have three scenarios, three of the worst scenarios ever: the aughts, 1930s, and 1960s and 1970s. Wellington, S&P, Wellington. Now, simpletons will say, well, that means I have to choose Wellington because 2 out of 3 times it did better. I don't think so at all, because now the interest rates on bonds are so low. I'm not sure Wellington can do that again. I don't know. Or other people say, well, I better choose the S&P 500 because I think inflation is going to rear its ugly head. I don't know. That's the issue. We don't know. And so this is where I'm leading people to see the reverse RMDs things right here, and I'll share that with you. I've done videos on that before, but that's my premise of the the barbell. Actually, I don't think I do the reverse RMDs in this book. I'm doing the barbell. That's what it was. The barbell approach. The barbell approach works like a charm, not all the time, but like a charm. The reverse RMDs work like a charm double dose. It's freaking awesome. It's awesome. And I'll probably throw the reverse RMDs in there with, well, I don't know if I will in that book or not. We'll see. Maybe I will, because reverse RMDs, I probably will, actually. I'll probably throw reverse RMDs on there because I do say retire on the Wellington. All right, so let's look at the 10-year treasury. What we got here? That's a distribution of the 10-year yield, normal distribution. So you can see right there is 4.6 is the average rate of the 10-year treasury, 4.61. All right, so you can see right there, we've had some times where the 10-year treasury got above 10%, and sometimes where the 10-year treasury got below 1%. Actually, that's below 2, but right now we're at 0.5. It's freaking insane how low that is. All right, so let's look at what the 10-year treasury was doing in is this a 10? Is that inflation 10-year? Where's the 10-year? Hold on just a second. Storm distribution, long interest rates. Okay, hold on. That's not what I'm looking for. Is that the 10-year? Let's go. We'll see. We'll go back to, yeah, right here. All right. So is that inflation? I can't remember. Well, hold on just a second. I'm not sure what that is. Is that the 10-year? Is that inflation? I think that's a 10-year, but yeah, let's go over here instead. Right here. All right. So 10-year right here. So yeah. Okay. So we're going to go to 1982 and see what the 10-year treasury right there, 14.59 is what the 10-year treasury is doing in 1982. All right, so S&P 500 in 1982 had a PE ratio of about 7, 8, something like that. 10-year treasury was paying 14. Was the right now the S&P 500 PE is probably about 21, if even that. 10-year treasury is paying 0.5. So we have a significant difference here in terms of seesaw. So is the S&P 500 pricey relative to the 10-year treasury? But not by any stretch of the imagination. Does that mean the S&P 500 doesn't carry risk? Of course it does. It's any stocks carry risk. I would never, ever agree, subscribe to the theory that the S&P 500 is pricey. I just would not. That does not mean there's no risk there. I mean, it just does not. But let's see. All right. Well, again, thank you all for being here. Just kind of short notice. Haven't really done one of these on the daytime for a while. So Brian says, is there a way to move employer contributions to a 401k over to a Roth that I contribute into? So it sounds like, Brian, you're saying, look, I got some employer contributions that's in my tax deferred 401k and I want to move it to my Roth. If your employer allows, sure. You just got to call them and say, hey, can I do the conversion? I bet they do. Yeah, absolutely. You got to pay tax on that. My man Bruce in Rochester Is a line of credit reverse mortgage better if you're still working? For income, Bruce, for income, either is going to be tax free. And I don't know, man. That's a tough one there. It's just the problem with the line of credits is just you're adding debt, and that debt is going to have to be paid back. You might pay the minimum monthly payment, but the problem is what we saw in 2008 is they can shut you down on that and say, no more minimum monthly payment. Now you got to pay 1.5% of the outstanding balance each month. And that's if they do that's a tough one, Bruce. That's tough. I guess it depends on the situation. If you're still, I mean, it won't have any effect on taxes, and you won't, as long as you're working, you'll be able to get a line of credit. I just don't like to have to pay it back. That's going to hurt cash flow. My drive back from Maine to Pennsylvania, stopped by my insurance agent. I just watched your video. On car insurance. By the time we made adjustments, I was paying $60. $60 more dollars a month. Is that what you're doing? Because you increase it, man. So on my way, so he stopped by his insurance agent, watched my video on car insurance, and by the time we made adjustments, the policy I was paying $60 extra a month. So you have 1, 3, and 5, 100,000 property damage liability, 300,000 personal per person. Health coverage, and then 500,000 per accident health coverage. Is that what you're saying? If that's 60 extra bucks a month, that seems a little bit pricey. By the way, I want to show you guys something. My son has a new. That's how we're wearing our masks now. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. That's Liam. That's how we're wearing a mask. Freaking mask, crazy. Ryan says, do you know anything about life insurance? There is such a thing as being overinsured if I buy term and later want to buy whole life. Why would you want to buy whole life later? I don't get that. Now, I mean, I assume what you're saying, Ryan, is that if you ever get in a condition where you need to convert your term life. So what that means is you have a $500,000 term policy. All right. Let me just give you an example for your old buddy Josh. When I was 29, I took a 30-year term policy for $500,000 out from USAA. I was paying $30 a month or something, dirt cheap. That's why I say everyone needs a term policy, everybody, because it's so flipping cheap. You need it. Unfortunately, I let that sucker drop because I don't know why. Stupid, but it dumb. Anyway, lo and behold, I tried to get life insurance again from USAA. A few years later, 10, 15 years later. I couldn't get at a good rate because my triglycerides were too high. My BMI was high, even though I was heavy into powerlifting then. And so I was strong as an ox, but they felt my triglycerides high, my BMI was high. I was, carrying a little bit of weight on my belly, but I was like, dude, I was strong, you know what I'm saying? And so they were going to give me the rate as a smoker, essentially. And that was insanely expensive. It was nuts. And so I said, well, this isn't going to work. But let's just say, for instance, I couldn't get insurance. And I'll never forget, I was driving up to Tennessee because I used to work for this firm for a short time in Kingsport. It's Easter Sunday, rain, cats, and dogs, and I had a blowout. My car blew out. My right side passenger, our back right side had a blowout on 85, hitting the Tennessee line. And it was pouring rain. I was able to get over to the side of the road, but it was a tiny little road starting to get dark, freaking trucks flying like crazy. And it was, thankfully I had my air compressor, so I could fill up the tire enough to get to a Walmart, which happened to be relatively close by so they could repair it. And I just barely made it there too. It was nuts. The whole thing was freaking nuts. But I remember sitting there thinking, if I got killed, at that point, my wife would be without insurance, which means she'd be screwed because we didn't have enough. It just wasn't enough. There was no income coming in if I was dead. I had okay 401k, but wasn't nearly enough to cover the mortgage, and then the income would stop. She'd be dead. She'd be dead to rights financially, and I was scared. So that's why I went to get. I said I need to get life insurance, and long story short, I did get it finally. I actually wrote about that in my first book, Strategic Money Planning, my whole experience there. But let's just say I was unable to get it because I had, freaking commie virus or something like that. And they're like, no, you can't get insurance now. you're a leper. And I said, man, okay. But if I still retain my old policy, I could convert that to a universal life policy. And a whole life, I probably want to do a UL, a universal life, a whole life. There are two different permanent policies. One's a universal life, which is the risk is on you, but potentially you could have a higher interest rate. The other is a whole life where the risk is on them, the insurance company, where you're going to have a lower interest rate. And the premiums on universal life are flexible. You can adjust them. You can do all kinds of stuff because the risk is on you. But on the whole life, the risk is completely on the insurance company, which means they're going to charge you for assuming that risk. So what would happen then in the ideal case? I said, oh man, I can't have this happen again. I can't get insurance. Let me go ahead and convert my policy I had with USAA from term to perm. And I'd have to crunch the numbers on UL versus whole life to see which one's better. Usually it's universal life would be better, generally speaking. And the conversion ability is what you'd want. That's the only time I think you'd want to get a whole of what I would call permanent life, not necessarily whole life, but permanent life insurance when I'm older. Is because I have an insurance need as I get older that's still with me. Other than that, I tell people all the time, I mean, hell, if your debt's paid off, I don't know why bother, frankly, unless you want to leave a legacy. Leaving a legacy is fine, but then you don't want life insurance on you. You want a second to die life insurance policy. I don't want to get too deep in that now because it'll bore everybody to death. I've done videos on that. I'll do another one on that because I think it's the best way to leave a tax-free legacy to your heirs for sure. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this: like, look, man, what I tell everybody all the time is, you get enough life insurance to pay off your debt, plus leave your wife or your husband with 2 years of income. That's it, man. That's what I think. If you have more than that, I don't think you're overinsured. I don't think you can be overinsured, other than the fact is opportunity costs of costing you money that you can't put to use in other places to pay down your debt, to put into a Roth or something like that. But my rule of thumb is, you got $100,000 mortgage. You $50,000 a year is what you need to live on. You need $200,000 life insurance. $100,000 pay off your mortgage. 2 years of expenses to help your wife see through, and that way she can get through the partying when I'm gone. She's like, woohoo, party central, and then she can turn around and figure out what she's going to do with herself. That might not be enough, frankly, because if your wife has been out of the workforce for a number of years, something like that, she can't just go back in. And get the job she took when she, quit to take care of the little rugrats. But anyway, that's the only reason. I'm sure there are other reasons why you want permanent life insurance as you age, but I'm just telling you, it's freaking expensive, dudes. It's expensive. So you got to be very, very careful in that regard. And if they say it's a tax-free retirement plan, look, I know these guys. Some of my dear friends, and when they argue that there's a tax-free retirement plan, I chuckle at that, man. I chuckle because if life insurance doesn't have any more investments than you or I, they don't. Life insurance companies inherently have worse investments. The reason is because they have to maintain their credit ratings, and the way they do this by buying large long-term highly rated corporate and government debt. That's what they have to do to keep their credit ratings. You and I, we can buy freaking snot-nosed stock company from Silicon Valley who loves Antifa if we want to take the risk. We can do that. Life insurance companies can't do that because they have to maintain the credit ratings. And if they're buying a bunch of crap out there, they won't keep their credit ratings, and then no one's going to be insured from them. It's nuts. And so what happens is they have this, they have to buy long-term government and corporate bonds highly rated, which have no yields at all. So they can't just give you a better investment than you and I can get just because they're a life insurance company. It's nuts. I mean, can they take a flyer and buy, some VC virtual capital, venture capital? I guess. But I can't imagine they could buy much. So I hear these guys, oh, you can get, you put in $10,000 a year for 20 years, you'll get $50,000 a year for the rest of your life, tax free. It's crazy. And I don't know if this dude's on this. I don't know if he's on here anymore, but I'll never forget. About 2 years ago, I had this I could tell he's a newly minted life insurance guy, and he swore up and down that his company was paying 6%. He had been around since 1850, and I knew it was Mass Mutual. The minute he said, I just do it. I said, look, I didn't just fall off the turnip truck there, guy. I said, okay, so if you're getting 6% a year as interest what is my if I start with $100,000 as a drop in today, what is my cash value after 10 years? And 6% simple interest. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out it should be $160,000. And we're just saying simple, we're not even saying compounded. I put $100,000 and said life insurance, I'm getting 6% interest in 10 years. Inherently, I should have $160,000, even if it's just simple interest, right? That would make sense. I said, run the illustration. And so he got back to me. He said, well, I said, just tell me what it was. It's like $104,000. I said, okay, so if I'm getting 6% interest, but I have $104,000 and I put $100,000 in, how can I get 6% interest? That doesn't make sense. He goes, well, you got to factor in. I said, exactly. I said, okay. All right. So he said, you got to factor in commissions, you got to factor in cost of insurance, you got to factor admin fees. Okay. I said, what happens in year 20 then? Give me the same illustration. I put 100,000 a year in year 10 and year 1. I get 6% interest. And we know after year 10, I don't have 160,000. So what do I have after year 20? Because apparently, according to what you just said, all the commissions are paid up, all the costs of insurance are paid up, everything's paid up. So now I'm really getting 6% this time. It's like 130,000 bucks. And I said, dude, you understand what's happening here, don't you? Please tell me. He said, what? No, that's what it is. I said, it's not 6% interest. It's 6% crediting rate. 6% crediting rate. My interest and crediting rate are two completely different things. You are using the crediting rate as if it's an interest, like a CD, and it's nothing could be further from the truth. Essentially, on $100,000, you're giving me $6,000 of interest, but you're taking out $5,800 for fees and commissions and stuff. So yes, you are crediting my account with 6%, but then you're pulling 5.8% from my account, and yet you're still using this 6% as if it's interest. It's freaking not. It's a lie. Hold on a second. My daughter's calling. Hold on. Yo. What's up, girl? Yeah, sorry, Pumpkin. I don't. Not sure. You want to say hi? I'm on a live stream. You want to say hi to everybody? All right. Oh, all right. This is Chloe. Hey, Chloe, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
That's my Chloe Grace. We love you. Anything else? You're on speakerphone now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't have anything else.
All right, cool.
Have a fun live stream.
Love you, girl.
Love you too.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye. She wanted to know what kind of stir fry she made last time. They're up in I think they went to the Costco with her stupid masks. She wants to know what kind of stir fry we had. Because Chloe makes a good meal. I said, Chloe, why don't you go to culinary school, man? Forget the stupid college stuff. If you like making food, and I like to eat food, so it's a wonderful experience. All right, so we talked about life insurance crediting rate versus interest rate. Just don't get sucked into the crediting rate stuff. VUL, variable universal life insurance, they're going to do the same thing. Well, you could get 12% in the market. I'm telling you, it's just as bad. It's ugly. Don't fall for that. All right, less than a year. Oops. Oh, my man says $60. York says it's $6. There's now we got Chloe. Now we got his sister or her sister or her brother Pablo. My man says York, when he's driving from Maine, he increased his policy in $60 less a year, and he picked up an umbrella policy, increases coverage for underinsured and uninsured, and reduces premiums. Oh, take that, insurance company! Boom, boom, boom. So not only do we save my man. We got him more insurance, and he picked up an umbrella, but he got $60 a year less coverage too. Just talk to your insurance people. Just say, hey, I want to make sure I'm getting the best rate. If not, I'm shopping it. I'm telling you. You got it, Angelo. JW says I'm spot on with taxes. Thank you, ma'am. I'm doing well, Don. Appreciate it. Greenville, South Carolina in the house. Can't believe how much real estate has been going up. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Nuts. The book will be out shortly, I promise. Steve Al, what's up, man? What's up? Right on, right on. When withdrawing money from an IRA, or 401k and you're under 650, besides the 10% penalty, there's a state penalty as well. Each state's different, Roberto. I think you're in New York, so probably, they'll probably charge a 90% penalty, but each state is different. There are some, I used to know there's one that was pretty bad. I think it's California. There was one that was pretty bad. It actually ticked me off. Chloe and Pablo, right? I already paid off my whole life for 200,000. Yeah, I don't know. I did a video on a lady who's got whole life, and she's making bank on the interest rates now because she took it out in 1993, a guaranteed minimum of basically 4.5% or something like that. Absolutely. So might as well keep paying. I mean, if you already paid up, Homer, might as well just freaking let that sucker roll. It's paid up. Look, again, for the 20,000th time, I'm not anti whole life. All four of my kids have 2 whole life policies each on them at $50,000 as a death benefit. All 20 paid up. A 20 pay. What a 20 pay means within 20 years it's paid up. I don't have to pay any more premiums. And I'm telling you right now, there's nothing better at all to have a paid up whole life insurance. That's kind of the way I look at with taxes too, by the way. When you're prepaying taxes, essentially you're paying up on your taxes. And I think we spreadsheet too much. I really, really believe that. I think people say, well, if I do this and I do that, by when I'm time at 85 will pay off. I'm like, I think we spreadsheet too much a lot of times in financial planning, because the spreadsheets will show you one thing, but the reality is not quite as clean as a spreadsheet. And I just tell you, man, if you could be 65 and have the tax man behind you because you paid more in taxes on the front end, even if the overall spreadsheet says don't do that, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. All right, let's see what other kind of questions we got. Yeah, New York taxes are oppressive. Yeah, property taxes. All right, so how will my man Tony says, how will digital currency that the feds are talking about effectively have invested and saved? The savings is what bothers me the most, Tony. The savings, because that's what we've seen in Argentina, Venezuela, where they force you to transition. They just force you to transition from your savings accounts into their fake ass investments. The fake ass cash, the Bolivar, under Hugo Chavez, and I don't know what the Argentina was. Were they on the dollar? Then they won the peso, something like that. Yeah, I saw that, Roberto or Homer. Como will buy you a drink. You believe that crap? The guy's saying, if you're rich, don't leave. I'll buy you a drink. I don't know. I don't know how digital currency is going to affect it. I don't like it at all. I'll tell you that right now. It's coming. I don't know if gold is the answer per se. I was listening to my man Curtis Stone the other day, the urban farmer, talk about all these people say gold and guns. And he wasn't saying that. He was quoting some other. I hate that stuff. Antifa is not coming down to mob you. They're just not. They don't have enough. Yes, I know they got some lady in Portland, Oregon the other day. I don't know what the stories behind that. There's some, look, these guys are clowns. I get it. They're not, there's no rebellion that's coming to suburban, freaking Alpharetta, Georgia. I mean, could they? Sure. I get it. Anything can happen. Just like I said, there's tons of things that happen. That's why you should always own firearms. That's why you should always have preps, just in case. I get all that. But the concern shouldn't be for some clowns called Antifa. The concern should be for the grid going kaput because of rogue hackers and stuff like that. The concern should be for things like digital currency, forced vaccinations, all this stuff is bad. It's scary stuff, man. The video I just did with a guy from freaking the Boston Bruins freaking POS telling these construction workers, of course, he didn't have the guts to tell them, telling the city, he knew the Attorney General of Massachusetts, and he doesn't want to have to, he's just trying to be reasonable, but these construction workers in 90 freaking degree heat, crazy humidity fool, should have their masks on because they're risking my family. Freaking fool. No, they're not. He's living in his $1 million home. Talk about a piece of crap. And the irony of it all is he was driving around on a unlicensed golf cart with 6 kids in it without masks and without helmets on. Now, I don't want to report for that, but the owner of the construction firm said it's just ironic that you're chasing me down for my construction crew while everybody else who's doing construction in this town is doing the same thing, yet you're running around with a freaking golf cart with no mask on with 6 kids in it. Piece of crap. Anyway, the issue is that is the risk right there of people violating your freedom by saying, I'm a reasonable guy. I'm doing it to protect my children. I don't want to accept your cash there, Tony, because your cash has COVID on it. And I'm scared for my kids. You're like, dude, you're a freaking clown. Your kids aren't going to get hurt by this, you stupid idiot. But he's like, no, but how about grandma? And how do you win against that? They're always going to throw, what about the kids? Like Mrs. Lovejoy in The Simpsons. Will someone think of the children? You're like, dude, the children are at risk, fool. Think of the children. You can't be logical to these people. So that's the risk. It's not the Antifa mobs. All right, I've got some more questions here. Do I know of any ETFs that use options trading for extra income? Nah, I'm sure it's easy to find, Roberto. I'm sure if you just did what's called buy right, BUY, right, like you're writing something, not RIGHT, but buy right covered call strategy is I guarantee there's a bunch of ETFs that do buy right. Again, buy right, BUY, like you're buying something, you're literally buying the shares, 100 shares of ExxonMobil, and you're writing a call against it. That's an option income strategy that has value. No other way around that. It does have values for sure, and it reduces risk. It reduces upside too, but it reduces risk. Absolutely. What do I think about the Vanguard DIGX fund and the traditional IRA, which I own? To be perfectly upfront with you, don't need the money for 15 years. Yeah, I freaking love it, man, without question. A huge fan of DDIGX, and I own it. So there you go. I got no qualm at all. I'd rather having a Roth, frankly, Glenn. If you had the Roth versus a traditional IRA, I'd much rather having the Roth. But yeah, I got no qualm at all. Angela says people need to. Bitcoin is over 11K. People are piling in again. Listen to Curtis. It's funny because he said guns and gold, and I'm sitting there thinking, so A, we don't have to worry about Antifa necessarily. And then people are thinking like Bitcoin, blockchain, what are the other cryptocurrencies? Like, how does that work? If we're all going to freaking zombie land, how's it going to work with Bitcoin? I mean, it's odd to me. And what Curtis's thing was, he said, let me tell you like this. He lives in Canada. If we're under SHTF, we're under SHTF moment, and you come to me with a bag of gold, and somebody else comes to me with electrical skills, farming skills, how to small engine repair skills. I'm gonna use the guy. I'm gonna hire it, and I can only take one. I'm not taking the guy with the bag of gold. I'm taking the guy who's got skills. And I would even argue if you come to me with a bag of Bitcoin, if that makes, you know what I'm saying, a digital currency bag or a crypto bag of Bitcoin, or a guy who has water, I'm taking the guy with water every day of the week, man. There's no functionality with Bitcoin in the SHTF scenario, just none. But there's always functionality if people know how to do stuff. You see what I'm saying? So the best skill set is to have to learn, how to grow food, how to get water, how to dig a trench, how to do electrical stuff. I mean, all that stuff's a skill set that is more valuable than gold or Bitcoin or anything like that in an SHTF scenario. And I just, the whole thing with Bitcoin, I still don't understand. I mean, look, I get it. At the end of the day, they think that the dollar is a fiat, and the Bitcoin has this, fixed amount. We'll see. But if the point was we're going to protect ourselves against SHTF, that doesn't make sense to me. But whatever, teach his own. People need to think about converting now when Trump's tax brackets are in effect. When they expire, they'll go up 3% plus do how much. Yeah, I agree with that, Angela. I mean, the facts are we're never gonna have taxes this low again. Sorry about the beard, by the way. I just got lazy. You don't need. I won't say it. I was gonna say I haven't showered for 2 days either, but I won't say that. I'll just let you think I haven't showered for 2 days. I have brushed my teeth though. When you work from home, you don't need a shower every day. And I haven't gone for a long walk. Usually, and I haven't been outside. I haven't done any gardening. We're getting some work done outside. So I haven't. Well, I mean, I haven't gone outside. I haven't gone for a long walk. So I haven't sweated. I haven't been outside at all, gardening at all, because these guys are out there. So I haven't really had a need to shower, if you can believe that. It's weird because we're all watching old Twilight Zone, Chloe and I shows, and just think about like in the old days, they had this episode where they're in New Mexico. It's like those guys never showered. They must have stunk, man. Stunk. But I haven't showered in 2 days. When you work from home, you don't have to shower. You don't have to shave. You got to do the other S. And I always brush my chops, but you don't have to shower or shave. It's kind of cool, man. Which Bruin was doing that is the director of marketing, Matt Chmura, CHMRUA or URA, like the old guy from the Packers. The first, the old tight end. It was not the same guy, but the tight end, same last name as the old guy, the tight end from the Mark Chmura. That was his name, Mark Chmura. Well, I think went to jail for getting busy with the underage lady, if memory serves. I think it's like a Brett Favre's was having a pool party at his house or something like that. And there's this 14-year-old girl that Chamorro got with or something. I don't think it's Brett Favre's daughter or something like that, but it's like some other. It's just crazy. But anyway, same. That guy needs to leave the Bruins. I don't know what the hell Cam Neely's doing with this clown. The guy's a clown, narking on freaking construction workers because he's fearful for his house, and he's living in $1 million beach house in I don't even know what the town was. I'm not familiar with it. Just a clown. And then he had to drop in. I know Maura Healey, and then of course because this guy is dropping names, and I don't know who this lady is. I assume she's the Attorney General of Massachusetts. But then because he's dropping names, of course, the city commissioner said, "Oh, Mr. Chamorro, will you be our expert on how to deal with COVID-19?" I'm like, dude, this guy's a director of marketing or vice president of marketing for the Boston Bruins. He's just a big mouth. Just because he got a big mouth, he's got connections because of affiliation with the Bruins doesn't mean he knows anything. That's the whole point about the classes stuff, man. This is just all privilege stuff. It's just, the higher ranking class have more privilege than you and I. White or black, it doesn't matter. They do. And because of that, it's nothing to do with race. It has to do with class. The dude from Chamorro, I guarantee he had connections to get that job too, by the way. Probably his dad freaking donated money to the Bruins Foundation. And when Chamorro graduated from wherever the hell he went to school, Wellesley or whatever, Vassar, they said, "Dad, can you find me a job?" And they said, "Yeah, I'll find you a job with the Bruins. I know Cam Neely, by the way, because I donated so much money to the Boston Bruins Foundation. Mr. Neely, can I work for you?" And they said, "Yeah, come on over, Chamorro." And now Chamorro's freaking ass clown, living large and telling construction workers to put a mask on. The whole thing's nuts. My bucket, Wellington and the VFIIX, is that Ginny May, is doing great. Take that. Right on, David. Love it. 100,000 Roth is like 130,000 IRA. 100% right, Ken. That's absolutely spot on, brother. Love Williams Mass. That's awesome. Digital currency makes no sense for small transactions due to the fees. And if you have to convert the dollars to use it, makes it kind of pointless. All about your expenses, man. More law, less justice. That's right, Tony. 100% more laws. More law, less justice. Yep. Ayn Rand had written in Atlas Shrugged that, what do they say? We can make a criminal out of anybody by just passing more laws. And then we can arrest them for anything. And this is a great, great saying. I can't remember what I said, but I said, dude, that's freaking so spot on. Atlas Shrugged bored me, frankly. Is everyone in the libertarian movement says, "Oh, Atlas Shrugged." And by the way, I just want to be clear, libertarians in of itself, I am not a libertarian. I'm not. I find a lot of libertarians are anti-America. I really, truly believe that. I think a lot of libertarians are truly selfish people. Truly, and what I mean by that is on the Ayn Rand side, where it's all about themselves. And look, that's not me. I'm not saying I'm not selfish. I certainly am, but I am not a libertarian in the sense and the idea that Reason Magazine is. I was reading a Reason Magazine article the other day where they're showing that the aggressive behavior of the police. Now we got the body cam footage of the George Floyd arrest. And I was just like sitting there thinking, this guy's he's so anti-cop. He's so anti-cop, this libertarian from Reason Magazine, that he can't see with his own eyes what's happening when he can't see it. So basically anyways, and I'm not that. I will always go to say, I give the cops the benefit of the doubt every single time. That doesn't mean they're always right. I always give them the benefit of the doubt. I do, without question. Until you walk in their shoes, don't tell me that they should have done this, should have done that. Now, that doesn't mean they don't make mistakes. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be held accountable. I would never disagree with that. However, this thing with Reason Magazine and libertarians, generally speaking, is they don't like America, they don't like our military, and they certainly don't like the police. And the funny thing is, they're usually the biggest. A lot of these libertarians are the biggest. How can I say this? They rely on more people than most people do, if that makes sense. I guarantee you, I take a redneck from West Virginia versus a libertarian from the Cato Institute any day of the week and see who can get by when the government falls, if that makes sense. And I guarantee it's a redneck from West Virginia 100 times out of 100. I guarantee you that. And it's where the libertarians say, I'm about for myself. But yet a lot of these libertarians, And this is, look, I'm not indicting the whole libertarian. I am indicting the large case Libertarian Party. But there are a lot of libertarians out there who are basically one step removed from Antifa, but they just like capital. They like money. There's no other way around that. So yeah, well, come on. Hey, John. Hey, Homer. You can't imagine A and Juror would vote guilty on murder too. The one that was for me, the Fountainhead was pretty good. It was the one where it was an Anthem. I think it was Anthem. That was one that was fantastic. That was my favorite Ayn Rand book. The Elias elite Yale guy, is he? He went to Yale, huh? I guarantee the whole thing, man. The whole thing. It's just these guys. This is where the war is the classes, man. And I say the classes not like the bourgeois versus the proletariat. It's not like that silly. I say it that we have the normies like us, the middle class people, and then you have the rich elite, and then you have the self created poor. And when I say self created poor, because they're engaging in activity that keeps them down, and they want to yell and scream bloody murder that the country is doing. It's not. It's not. If Ben Carson of all people and his brother are successful, if they can do it, anyone can do it. I just don't want to hear anymore that you can't do it. I don't. In America, you can do it. That's all there is to it. Now, does it take luck? Yes. Will you be down on your luck sometimes? Yes. Are you guaranteed? No. You have the opportunity just like everyone does. You don't have the equality of results, but you absolutely have the equality of opportunity without question. And it's just not debatable. The idea that there's some kind of privilege because you have to have low melatonin or something like that, it's just freaking stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. But there are people with privilege, and those people, regardless of race or regardless of skin color, is because of money. Money. They got the money, and their parents freaking wave that money around to make sure their kids are taken care of. Come on, man. That's the privilege. And I don't blame parents for doing that crap. I would argue, I don't think you're doing your kids a good deal by freaking, guiding them in every single. They got to get out there on their own and make head spin, man. That's what they got to do. But you can freaking give them the guardrails, but you shouldn't guide. Even a guidance, but you shouldn't freaking drive them. You just give them the guardrails. And but the privilege that we have now is this boy, Matt Chumera from Boston Bruins, a rich kid, Garrett, and we know that now. And he's had everything paved the way. And now he wants to talk down on construction workers because his life is more valuable. We've seen this a million times on Sunday. Yeah, I haven't watched. I tell you, Tim Pool and Sticks keep saying it's class war, not race war. People's too focused on race. And Tim, I like Tim, but the problem with Tim is I think he's too quick to pull the trigger that we're of this pending civil war coming, and I don't believe it at all. It's a culture, not the color. I can agree more. 100%. And we can look at the culture in white communities, Native American communities, Black communities, Spanish-speaking communities. You have a certain group of people of all cultures, of all races, of all ethnicities, and all religions who get dependent on big daddy government, and those people are always going to be left behind. Always. No other way around it. No other way around it. And then you have another of entrepreneurs. I got to tell you, man, I vacillate between immigration because I see these guys out there, all Spanish speaking guys, freaking busting their ass. And I see a lot of my own people just sitting back expecting handouts from big daddy government. And it's one of those things that I am 100% in favor of immigration, but I'm in favor of immigrants who assimilate, if that makes sense. And it's one of those things that's sitting there thinking we're not asking people to assimilate anymore. And until we ask people or demand people assimilate, I'm not in favor of immigration, the numbers that we have now. But I think, and I don't know why we feel so guilty to require people to become Americans and Americanized, as opposed to, bringing their home countries with us and never leaving it behind. I don't get it. I have nothing to be ashamed of for America. America's the best country the world's ever seen, by far, bar none. And anyone disagrees with it, they're just simply wrong. I won't grant the premise is debatable. It's simply not. But but I'm seeing these guys out here, and we hook them up with tips, we give them pizza, we give them Gatorades, the whole thing. because I'm stunned at how hard these guys work. And I'm grateful for it, without question. And I just sit there and think, but then I see my own people just sitting on their, not all of them, I mean, but there are many, many whites sitting on their butts, just expecting. They got a college degree. Like someone close to my family who's a nurse, and she goes, yeah, we got tons of psychology majors working in the nursing home with us, wiping butts and changing diapers. So they have a psychology degree, probably $100,000 in debt, and now they're working in nursing homes, wiping butts and changing diapers. What's the point? But I guarantee they feel like, this isn't fair. I got a degree. Sad, man. Yeah. So it's funny, man. They DMC 8282. They put your comment. I had to review it first. So DMV says I live in government housing at 20 and now have a net worth of over $1 million. I have 41. I'm white, but busting my ass to get where I am. Yep. Yep. In California, if you have a large party, they'll cut your electricity and plumbing. I saw that, Roberto. You believe that crap? Google the cop that he did not uphold the law, the crook and his thieving wife of it. Yeah, look, Gentry, you're not, just because we're saying there's more to the story doesn't mean I am saying that Derek Chauvin is innocent at all. Don't take that. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying that. No. What I am saying is at the end, and it has nothing to do with if he's a tax evasion crook. It had nothing to do with that. What I'm saying is there's always a second side of the story, and the anti-cop libertarian movement always wants to put the blame on the police first, even if his evidence is inherently obvious that there's more to the story. It's exactly right. How does it relate to the case of Floyd? You can't sit there and say that guy's a bad guy here, so he's guilty of this. You can't. Now, again, I am not saying I don't watch the videos because it bothers me. I just don't want to see some guy dying. I don't like seeing people who are obviously hyped on drugs and fentanyl. It doesn't make me happy to watch that. So I'm not going to watch. But I've listened to people who've watched everything, and the people who said this is inherently Derek Chauvin inherently essentially target this guy are now saying differently. They're saying it inherently wasn't racial. He probably overreacted, but he did what the freaking Minnesota statute allowed him to do, which is put his knee on their neck. And the reason they do that is because situations like a guy like George Floyd, was he like 6'4", 200 something? He's on fentanyl. And they're like, this is exactly what the protocol was. Now, did he do it too long? Probably. And can you make a case that in court that led to his death? Sure. But it certainly wasn't homicide. It certainly wasn't a racial hounding by a stretch of the imagination. But then you want to say, well, look what else he did. Do you really want to go down that road, Gentry? Look what else you did. Well, I don't think you're attacking me. I'm just saying, I don't like this whole thing. Look what else this guy did. Thus, he's guilty on that. That's scary stuff. And it's funny too, because the no bail people and all that stuff. They, the whole thing about, you can't. You can't say because this guy has for anything, and I agree with this 100%. Did you do this crime? If the answer is yes, what's it based on? The evidence of this crime being committed. It can't be based on what I did before because it has nothing to do with this crime. You can't do that. I mean, you can do that. Say we have reason to believe this guy has a history of doing this, so we're going to bust him. But you can't just say, we have reason to believe you raped all these ladies. This lady got raped, so we're going to think you did it. I mean, you can investigate them for sure. I don't have a problem with that, but you can't just say we're going to throw you in jail and throw away the keys because of all this other stuff when you don't have any evidence of the specific crime. This is where the libertarian street comes in. As a matter of fact, there's a guy who was falsely accused, arrested, spent a night in the Arlington County jail, not the prison, just a jail. And then, had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to defend myself. And then the lady who accused me with her stupid crocodile tears just bothered not to show up in my court case. And they dismissed it. But man, I had to go through hell and high water. I had to spend $10,000 to defend myself. That's where they say a conservative is a liberal who's been mugged. A libertarian is a conservative who's been falsely accused. And I'll never get that lady got to go along with her life. Had no problem at all because that guy hit me. It's freaking nuts. And it was nuts. I still piss off by that because it's nuts. A lot of libertarians don't like cops because they see them as oppressive force. I don't think libs believe in non-aggression principle at all, man. Not what we're seeing now. The old hippie libs did, yeah, but those days are gone now. Sherry says, my friend became a citizen in 67. My mom helped her study for the test. She works very hard and she's 75 now. Yeah. We had somebody who said something about, I forgot what it was, but I was saying on the comments that I would take an immigrant who's under the boot of the commies. I'd take one of those immigrants who was born and raised on the boots of the commies will work harder than 10 native born Americans for the most part. And when I say that, I mean the 10, 10 people I'm talking about, college people, spoiled brats, gimme. The hollowed out people who've got no souls anymore. I'll take a freaking commie raised in Poland, Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, Vietnam. I'll take one of those guys any day of the week over 10 native born who go to Wellesley and studying social justice. And all right, well, I guess that's we'll take one more here and then we'll get on out of here and got some stakes to do. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Biden doesn't look good. Can I use a Vanguard Wellington? This is from Daniel. Daniel says, can I use a Vanguard Wellington and Wellesley for my stable value and short-term bond funds? I'd like to put 6 years of cash and 2 years reserved in the funds. And then he or she says, on your retirement course, is there continue access? There is continue access on the retirement course, by the way. So once you buy it, it's yours, man. And the reason you know that is because I got on my own teachable stuff. I'll show you the courses I have that I bought many moons ago. If I can find the teachable. Let's see. Oh, it always does that. Let's see. I'll show you the course I got. If it might take a bit. Anyway, so can I use the Vanguard Wellington and Wellesley funds for my stable value and short-term bond funds? Yeah, I don't like that. I like my stable value fund being exclusive in these stocks. So I don't think I'm a fan of that. This person wants to put 6 years of cash and 2 years reserves in the fund. I think if you're going to be doing cash, your stable stuff, you should just have the cash in cash or Ginnie Mae, VFIIX, for instance. So here's your, hold on just a second. Oops. Yeah, so here's classes I have from Teachable that I bought many moons ago. You can see I got plant propagation course. I bought that in 2016, and conversion copywriting 101, which I bought that in 2018. So I still have these on my phone, unlimited access, can watch them over and over and over again. So it's great. So did you see vacation beach condo at my favorite area is up 30% since 2018. I noticed you didn't see that, did you? So I got to show it like this. I don't think you guys saw it. So there you go. So there's the teachable courses I have. If you can see that. And again, I bought these many years ago. Coincidence? Maybe, yeah. Mortgage rates going down, property going up, property prices going up. There's no coincidence there, and that's fact. Interest rates go down, makes the price of properties higher simply because they're cheaper to own. All right, man. I appreciate y'all being here on a quick one today, Thursday afternoon. See you Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern time. And I appreciate y'all being here. Thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon. I'm going to go make some steaks. We'll see ya.